Coming up on this week's edition of SCS Local Matters, more great news for golfers and boaters. In the Kids Corner, Katie talks about life in lockdown for middle school students. And our DPW gives us a peek into some of the essential services they provide for you. These stories and more when SCS Local Matters starts right now. Hi, I'm Mary Jane Doherty, Communications Director for the City of St. Clair Shores, and you're watching SCS Local Matters. We bring you 100% city news with information you can trust. In this week's top story, as viewers may recall, in one of the latest rounds of executive orders from Governor Whitmer, she reopened golf courses and marinas. And that's great news for our golfers and boaters. The St. Clair Shores Golf Course is now open daily, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can sign up for tee times online at scsgolf.com, or you can call 294-2000, extension 1. Tee times are scheduled to start about every 12 minutes, and golf carts are now available for everyone. You can share a golf cart only if you and your golfing partner live at the same address and have a driver's license to prove it. You must, of course, maintain social distancing of 6 feet from others while you are on the course. Sign up today. Golfers have been out in force. We have been so busy, and you don't want to miss out on a round. Currently, all city marinas are also open. Please remember, boat well rentals must be paid in advance at the Parks and Recreation office inside of Civic Arena. The office is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and closed on Sunday. The Blossom Heath Boat Ramp is open to St. Clair Shores residents only, but the 9 Mile Boat Ramp is open to residents and non-residents. The Loch St. Clair Boat Ramp behind City Hall will remain closed until the parking lot is completed, and that looks maybe 2 or 3 weeks down the line. Now for closings. The Civic Arena, the Municipal Pool in Loch St. Clair Park, the Splash Zone in Veterans Memorial Park, the play equipment in all of our parks, the Tizio State Park, and the basketball hoops will remain closed to the public until further notice. Currently, our parks are open to all residents without a park pass. So go ahead, take your family, take a nice leisurely stroll down to the water. Remember, though, you have to keep the social distancing of 6 feet from others. However, you will need a park pass to enter very, very soon, and you can purchase yours at the Parks and Recreation offices inside Civic Arena at 20,000 Stevens between I-94 Expressway and Little Mac. Call the office at 445-5350 for more information. Now, if you are looking for the very latest in city news, when the Loch St. Clair Boat Ramp will be open, when children can play again on our playscapes, you probably should check out our Facebook page and Twitter and Instagram account addresses that you see on your screen. That's the fastest way to find out. And now, SCS proudly presents another episode of The Kids Corner, a show designed specifically for our younger viewers. Your host, Katie, a middle school student, will explore subjects that our younger viewers are interested in, and she often gives them a chance to sound off on issues that are important to them as well. Today, Katie is going to share with us her thoughts on what it's like to be a middle school student in the lockdown due to the coronavirus.
Thank you, Miss Mary Jane, and welcome back to another episode of the Kids Corner. We've all heard of COVID-19 by now, a pandemic that's impacting all of our lives. We're on lockdown, restaurants are closed and might only be open for takeout or delivery, and most importantly, schools are shut down and people are losing their jobs at work. This is a really difficult time for everyone, so I'd like to share how I've been dealing with it. The biggest change for me is the fact that I'm no longer attending school until next year. We're doing online schooling, which can sometimes be hard for me because I'm vulnerable to a ton of distractions now. But I've been able to stay focused and things have gone pretty smoothly for me. I've also been doing other things too, like playing video games, cooking, binge watching TV shows, and spending time with my family. I try to make the best out of it, but sometimes it can get very boring. It all just feels like one big day now, and we're just taking little naps in between. I've been trying to call my friends as much as possible to keep in touch, and I've been very grateful for my phone these past few weeks. Since we're living through a historical moment in time, I keep a journal and try to write in it every week or so to record what's going on. I also try to write a few positive things in there now and then just to ease the stress. Another way to ease stress is to simmer down and take a nice warm bath. Because who doesn't love baths? Today, I'm going to be giving a demonstration on how to make fortune cookie soaps. Let's get started. So first, what we're going to need is parchment paper, any kind of soap, a metal tray, a cup, and fortunes from fortune cookies. If you don't have these, which I'm not expecting you will, that's okay. You can just cut off strips of white paper and write your own on them. So the first thing that you're going to do is chop up your soap, take a cup or a bowl, put the soap in, and then you're going to want to boil or heat up some water and then add that. And then you're gonna stir it until it's all smooth. Something like this. You're going to go over to the tray, put parchment paper on it, and then you're going to pour the soap onto the parchment paper. Once it's on the parchment paper, you're gonna wait about 30 to 45 minutes for it to dry. Once it's dry, you're gonna take a cup and you're gonna use it like a cookie cutter and cut the soap into a circle shape. After you're done cutting up the shapes, get your fortune ready and gonna place it in the middle, and then you're gonna fold it in half like this. After that, you're gonna place the soap on top of a cup like this and let it sit there for 30 minutes so it can mold. And there you have it, fortune cookie soaps. Now you can go take a nice warm bath with the soaps right by your side. I hope everyone is staying safe and trying to make the best out of staying inside. Make sure to wash your hands. Back to you, Miss Mary Jane.
Thank you so much, Katie, for your insights into the stay home, stay safe lockdown from your perspective. If our viewers have suggestions of subjects that you would like Katie to cover, you can call me at 447-3414, or you can email me at maryjane@scsmi.net. In other news, many thanks to the First State Bank for their annual donation of tulip bulbs to the Beautification Commission. Beautification volunteers planted the tulips on Masonic Boulevard near the golf course and at the intersections of 11 Mile Road and 696 and 12 Mile and Mack. Historically, the tulip was originally a wildflower growing in Central Asia. The Turks first cultivated the tulip as early as 1000 AD. Who knew that it was that old of a flower? The name tulip came from the Turkish word for turban because of its similarity to a turban when it was in full bloom. The tulip's popularity spread to Western Europe and the Netherlands, and finally to the United States. Our tulips always let us know when spring has arrived in the shores. Just drive down the street and enjoy the blazing red carpet of tulips on Masonic or 11 Mile or 12 Mile roads. The city greatly appreciates First State Bank's donation of red tulips because they also symbolize their love for our community. Every community has a variety of wildlife. Some we enjoy, others not so much. But whatever the case, each comes with its own challenges. One of the main objectives of the Animal Care and Welfare Committee lies in educating our citizens about animal welfare issues and what we can do to protect our pets. With this goal in mind, we proudly present another episode of Nautical Tales, hosted by committee member Liz Nicosia. In this week's show, Liz interviews Dave Ribello, who shares a touching and sometimes frightening story about his rescue beagle. Welcome back to the show, Liz and Dave. We're really looking forward to your report today.
With the Animal Care and Welfare Committee, and today we are going to be doing this from our homes because of the stay-at-home order, and we're in quarantines in effect. So I'm going to be filming with David Ribello. Hi, Dave.
Hi, how are you, Elizabeth?
Thanks for joining us. We're going to do an episode of Nautical Tales from our living rooms today because we're unable to meet and do this together. So we're going to do our best this, and not sure how many animals are going to be walking in the background, but first and foremost, I just want to give our regular updates as to the things we have to pay attention to right now. And I know with spring coming up, we've got puppies and kittens on their way, so we want to make sure everybody spays and neuters their pets in time for that when it is time. And also we want to talk about the flea and tick medications, make sure we always have your pet on something that is going to protect them but not be so strong it upsets their system or makes them lethargic and sick. So always talk with your veterinarian and find a good flea and tick medication for your pets because that time of the year is here and we need to make sure they're covered. So first of all, David, I wanted to talk to you about your rescue dogs and see a little bit about where they came from, and maybe you can fill us in on what happened with that, and I'll let you take over. Here's David.
This one here you're looking at, his name is Teddy.
Okay.
Teddy was a rescue dog. He came out of the Dow Beagle testing.
Okay. And what is that exactly for those who don't know?
Well, there was about 36 of these dogs. They're beagles. They were bred out in New York,
okay.
Shipped over here to Michigan, used in a laboratory experiment for Dow Beagle, or for Dow, on the west side of the state of Michigan, probably about 3 hours from here.
Okay.
And the reason for their testing is they were being looked at and tested for pesticides and fungicide treatment for agro Dow, for a company in South America who wanted to test fungicides and pesticides. So these little guys here, again, there was 36 of them. By the time it was all over, there was 32 of them. And the United States Humane Society ended up finding out about what these dogs were going through. Basically, they were taking these beagles. They were housed in cages with very little human interaction. The only times they were taken out of their cages, and force-fed fungicides and pesticides. The United States Humane Society ended up finding out about it and approached Dow, Midland Dow, the Agro-Sciences, and were able to go back and forth with them and stopped their testing of the dogs. Okay. They put up enough fight where Dow eventually just said, okay, we're going to stop testing the dogs. Okay. And this was an experiment that really wasn't even needed. It's just that the company they were doing it, were hired to do it for, down in South America, their criteria was to test the dogs. Okay. Sure. So that's what they did. The experiments were eventually stopped, and then then Dow didn't stop there. Then Dow wanted the dogs released.
How did you get your hands on one, I guess, is my question.
My wife, Greta, started to follow the case. This case is sort of a historical case. It's a landmark case, and it started to get on the internet about these 32 beagles that were released.
Right.
So they released the dogs out into the Humane Society, Michigan Humane Society. I believe that was in Westland. So they were going to then put them up for adoption. And immediately, as soon as they put these dogs up for adoption, there might have been, I think it was 80,000 people.
Wow.
Within a very short period of time, wanted to adopt the dogs.
Sure.
Okay? One of the criteria was it was great to have a second dog, so these dogs could learn from the sister here. So that was one of the criteria, and Greta went out to Westland, looked at one of the other beagles. This one here, Cleo, and the beagle they looked at, they weren't completely compatible. So they brought this one out. His name was, I guess, his given name at the laboratory was Roscoe, but his name is Teddy now. Okay. So they got along pretty well. And so because the fact that we were beagle owners and we had a beagle and we've had beagles,
right,
pretty much was a good fit for us.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
So I don't know if you can, one of the traits of these dogs, I don't know if you can you see that in his ear? Can you see in his ear?
Tattoo?
He's got lab tattoos. These beagles have lab tattoos in their ears. That was his lab number. Okay. So he went through a lot. And we eventually were able to bring him home. I think it might have been, was it in June, Greta, that we got him? May or June?
It was in April.
In April, okay. So
it was a year tomorrow.
Wow, a year tomorrow. It's a year tomorrow since we've had him.
Okay.
So Teddy has been in commercials. For the Humane Society, if you look those up on YouTube, he's on their websites.
Mm-hmm.
This is just an awesome dog. And we were
now, if someone are there any more left? If someone wants to get one, or what's going on?
All of them are gone. They went almost immediately.
Okay, good. Good to hear.
Dog lotto, because thousands of people wanted these dogs.
Sure.
They're all part of a landmark case for the United States Humane Society, and the fact that they were able to force a company like a big company like that stop what they were doing and then get them adopted and then release them.
Right.
Like I said, they were just going to kill all these dogs.
That's crazy.
I guess probably because they didn't sort of, I don't know. He's healthy so far.
Yeah, I'm glad they all found homes. That's great.
All of them found great homes. We have a Dow Beagle site. I started a Facebook page for Dow Beagles.
Excellent. And what's the name of the Facebook page?
Dow Beagles.
Dow Beagles? Okay. We'll put that on the screen for everybody later. And I just wanted to let everybody know what was going on in case they saw maybe a snippet of the dog in the Sentinel. I know you had a small article on there back when. And
he's been on Channel 2. He's been on Channel 4. They came out here and
he's loving on you.
It's a great dog. And to think that they were going to kill these dogs and put them on.
They're no longer used to them. No, I know. It's terrible.
There's always a dog in people's homes. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to shed some light on this. It's such an important thing. I know we've got a lot of animal lovers here in St. Clair Shores. So we all thank you for what you did for this cute little guy and all the other dogs. I'm hoping they're all working out with their new homes.
Well, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Mary Jane, I'm going to send it back over to you. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks so much, Dave, for taking the time to share your story with us. And Liz, we're going to see you next time for more Nautical Tales. And now we're going to present a brand new segment in our news report. We call it our DPW on the Move, working for you. Periodically, we will highlight one of the essential services that our Department of Public Works, affectionately known as DPW, provides you, our citizens. Today, we're going to talk about water. The DPW Water Department employees continue to ensure that our drinking water is of the highest quality. The DPW monitors our water for contaminants such as bacteria, organics, and metals. They collect samples each month at as many as 36 locations throughout the city. With many of these buildings closed to the COVID-19 crisis, the DPW has had to install outdoor sampling stations. But please be assured, these stations are clean and they are secure to collect the samples. Sampling results are included in the annual water quality report published by the city in June of each year. You can find past reports on our city website at scsmi.net. And if you were looking specifically for the 2019 water quality report, just click on the address that you see on your screen. Currently, the DPW is also collecting water samples for lead and copper testing. If your home has a lead service line and you are interested in having your water sampled for lead and copper, please call the DPW at 445-5374. We will add your address to the future pool of sampling addresses. Before we sign off for today, residents across the city look to the skies for tributes to Michigan healthcare and essential workers on Tuesday and Wednesday. On Tuesday, the United States Navy's Blue Angels honored Michigan medical workers with a special flyover. The series of flyovers is called Operation America Strong, and it's taking place in the skies of the country's hardest hit by the coronavirus. As you know, Michigan ranks 7th in the worst states hit by COVID-19. The flight path started in Ann Arbor and passed over St. Clair Shores around noon. Citizens lined residential streets and jammed parking lots just to get a glimpse of the aerial spectacle. On Wednesday around 3:30 p.m., the Selfridge Air National Guard also conducted a flyover St. Clair Shores and the Metro Detroit region. The Michigan Strong flyover honored those frontline and mission essential workers. Both flyovers had one message in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic: stay strong. And that's the news for this week. I'm Communications Director Mary Jane DeHurdy. Tune in next week for more SCS Local Matters with information you can trust.